Hello, this is Scot Conway, Ph.D, J.D, whole rest of the resume for mothersraisingsons.com. I just finished doing a bunch of short videos, 5 to 10 minutes each, dealing with this whole be a man being a bad thing, being a destructive thing from just the trailer of the masks that we live in. And I haven't seen the movie. It's not out yet when I'm recording these things. But my wife heard part of an interview from one of the producers and promoters of this, talking about how masculinity is about drug use, and masculinity is about pornography, and masculinity is about being misogynist and about being chauvinistic, and that's what masculinity is. That's not what it is. I don't know where people get this idea. Now, is it true that pornography is largely viewed by males and that most males like it, whether they look at it or not? Yes, that's true. But is it masculine to do that? Is that healthy masculinity? And I think a lot of us would say, no, that is a common trait. But that doesn't mean that that's what masculinity is. And drug use, and I don't know where she's getting these ideas. There's a huge difference between what happens and what is healthy masculinity. I think that I could probably agree with her that we are in a pretty sorry state for having an understanding of masculinity. That old school masculinity, honestly, was pretty cheap. The solution was like, well, we just take the women, we just don't let the women in here, and only the men are allowed in here. And so if the man's here and he's kind of doing the stuff we do here, he's a man, and that's what it is. Well, yeah, that's pretty cheap. And you don't have to be mature. You don't really have to be masculine. Your roles kind of defined it for you. And as a society, as a culture, especially at least in the Western world, we've kind of outgrown that. And now there's not a lot of places that women aren't allowed to be. There's not a lot of jobs that women aren't allowed to do. I mean, there's still a lot that are wildly disproportionately male-dominated, just like there's a bunch of wildly disproportionately female-dominated. But we don't lock the other sex out the way that we used to. And so now the men need to kind of step up, and they kind of need to do masculinity right. A radical end of feminism, the end that my mother disagrees with, who is very egalitarian in her view of men and women, but that whole thing of attacking men, that was a mistake. Men are our allies. They are not our enemies. And the part that attacked men, attacked masculinity, ended up beating down a generation of males. And then we end up Peter Pan syndrome, the boys that never grew up. We have all kinds of other dysfunctional things going on. We have men that are kind of running scared in their relationships. And then sometimes you get the flip side. You get men that are over-domineering because they're overcompensating, but they're coming from a place of weakness, a lack of understanding, too much passive aggression. There's all kinds of dysfunctions going on because we didn't do it right. We didn't just develop a healthy sense of what it really is and what authentic masculinity is and authentic femininity. And I think in the 21st century now, we are at the level of society that if we don't learn how to get this right, we're just going to have a pendulum going back and forth. We're messing stuff up this way, and it's going to come back. We're going to mess stuff up this way, and we're just going to go from one mess up to another, and we're just never going to get it right because we're going to get up here, and we're going to have some good stuff, some bad stuff. We're going to see the bad stuff. Whoop, get rid of the bad stuff. And we're going to end up over here. We got rid of the good stuff along with the bad stuff, and now we're creating a whole different mess, and then we get rid of that stuff, and we're just going to keep polarizing, and I think that's a mistake. When I call it, do you want to be driving along and do you want to crash into the wall on your right, or do you want to crash into the ditch on your left? And the answer is you don't want to crash at all. You want to drive down this road. You want to get it right. And that's part of what we're talking about. Now, my wife is pretty passionate on this issue, as you can imagine. Being a woman who has given birth 5 times. She has 5 times she's given birth. All 5 of them are boys. We just had our first grandchild. That first grandchild is another boy. Do you think healthy masculinity is important to her as a mother raising sons? Absolutely. And I have to tell you, when she listened to this clip or watched the clip and she heard part of that stuff on the radio, she said, no, this is going to mess things up. To be a man isn't a destructive thing, because the difference is, our boys are growing up with the idea that being masculine is initiative energy. Being masculine means you still bring that feminine energy, and that's the supercharged. That's what makes your masculine energy that much more powerful. That you need to be powerful and selfless, and that's being a heroic man. Our sons get this. So when you tell one of our boys, be a man, they know, okay, I need to step up my game. I need to take initiative. I need to connect with people. I need to be respectful. I need to be responsible. I need to get it done. That's what be a man means. And that if it's tough, I need to get the help I need, because every warrior knows that if you're in a fight that you cannot win by yourself, or even that you may not win by yourself, you get someone to come help you out, because that's what someone who really knows how to get things done, that's what a man does. So our boys get that. So you say, be a man to someone that we train, to one of the boys that we raised, that's a powerful thing. That's an empowering thing. So when she just heard the opening of this video, she's like, what are they talking about? Why is be a man distracted? What goes next? Is be a woman? And we can't say be a woman either. What's going to happen here? So she had a problem with this, and the discussion and the passion that we had as we discussed that, I just need to go make videos. That we're talking about getting mothers raising sons going, and if this thing's coming out, we need to get the truth out. We need to get healthy ideals out before this thing dismantles the healthy part, because they're trying to solve the problem. Instead of crashing into the wall on one side, they're going to just plunge it into a ditch on the other side. That, we're messing up the car against this wall, and that's causing some damage, and they're going to throw the whole thing off the cliff. And hopefully we can step out with mothers raising sons. We can help get you good, solid answers. In all of my videos, this is not just a rant against the trailer. This isn't just an issue by issue, like, that's just stupid. That I'm giving answers as I go. I'm not unpacking the answers. I'm not really honestly educating you very much, but I'm touching on things. And there's a lot of useful stuff in there. If you go back through there, it's not just I don't like this trailer, it's a bunch of garbage. This is the healthy version. This is what we do need to do. And giving you just bits and pieces of that. Authentic masculinity, the way I teach in the Complete and Unleashed, is you have initiative energy, you have inviting energy. Male or female, those two go together. If you have, say, 1 unit of initiative energy, 1 unit of inviting energy, if you bring those two together, that's human. If you want to feel feminine, you stack another layer of inviting energy. If you want to feel masculine, you stack another layer of initiative energy on. There's all kinds of simple, and suddenly when you have this good, healthy model, obvious techniques that once you learn them, they're self-evident. Self-evident just means once you know it, it's almost impossible to argue against rationally. And that's what we're doing at mothersraisingsons.com. So whether you come to one of my VIP level retreats, or whether you come for the deep dive into the deep heart of parenting retreats, that we spend a week doing this stuff, or whether you're one of my live clients, or whether you're one of my group clients, or you're just a member in the site. And at the moment I'm recording this, we don't have the membership site up yet. And so we just have the things that I do personally up and running. But if we can get this membership site up, the Complete and Unleashed program is going to be there. The Heroic Masculinity program is going to be there that teaches how to help our sons grow up to be powerful and selfless. And then a masculinity program there that focuses on masculine sexuality. That's probably 2/3 of the program there, because, that's a scary monster. And if we can defang the monster, if we can have a healthy understanding of masculine sexuality, especially as adults, honestly, to have a healthy understanding of these things, and a vocabulary to discuss the issues and be able to make it something we can actually talk about with our sons, and not have it just be this big EBGB issue, so that it doesn't grow up in a vacuum. It's when anything that is so emotionally driven is hidden in darkness, and we hide it in darkness, and then it just sort of grows up all by itself with no guidance, no discussion. That's when you get the dysfunctional stuff. And so answers are here. And those 3 programs, I wanted to kind of cycle through on them. Every month, one of them will be available. And so every 3 months, all 3 of them. And then all of my other books and all of my other audios, and to get more and more books available and more audios available, and you'll produce content for you every month. That's my target, to help you raise your sons. And while the focus here is on mothers raising sons, of course, for all of us fathers too, it's, equally powerful for fathers. A lot of men, honestly, they kind of think they have an idea what it is. Some men know enough to realize even if you feel like you're doing it, you would benefit from a vocabulary. So certainly fathers are invited to join us at Mothers Raising Sons. But, honestly, statistically speaking, we deal with a lot of statistical truisms. As between mothers and fathers, mothers tend to worry about this more than fathers tend to worry about this. We have a lot more women who are spending their time raising their sons, and honestly, a lot of women who have been really just reamed over by men and have a lot of man issues who are trying to raise boys to be men, and who have enough insight and understanding to realize, I've been so hurt by men in my life. I know I've got some messed up views of what being male is. And a whole bunch of those kind of messed up views of being a man shows up in the trailer for this upcoming movie. What was it called again? The Mast You Live In. About how being a man is such a bad thing. And that comes from that place of people who don't know, they don't have healthy relationships with healthy men. And I want better for your son. I want better for all of the boys this whole generation raises. So a generation from now, we can have this nailed. And that's my vision, and that's my goal for mothersraisingsons.com. I hope we can help. I hope these videos can help. I hope we made a difference, and that, depending how much you really got into it, that you got a whole bunch of tools you can already use. You heard a whole bunch of clean definitions you can already apply. Scot Conway with mothersraisingsons.com.